Alright, so we have a bit of a deer problem with them getting into our little orchard area over here. They've been chewing on the apple trees and the elderberry and some of the figs. So we had a 2-fence system set up where we had this 4-foot fence that was electrified, and then an exterior fence that we had on these little pigtail fence posts, the small ones there. And the idea was that if you have a 30-inch gap between the small fence here and the big fence there, then the deer can jump vertically over this fence, but they can't jump horizontally over both fences. But they're getting in, so we got to figure out something different. We hadn't actually had it electrified for quite a while, so I think for a bit what we're going to do is electrify both fences. We'll have the top 4 strands of this guy electrified, and then as well we'll have the exterior strand that runs on these pigtails around the perimeter electrified. The idea being that hopefully it'll they'll get shocked one way or another. What's tricky though is I'd run out of this braided electric string that's good for electric fences. And I didn't want to go to the store to buy some more, so I'm replacing some of the strings that we have on the fence here with some more wire, and then I can reuse this to go around the outside. What I had previously on the pigtails was just some kind of plumbing string, or not plumbing string, but string for kind of making straight lines with the framing that I've used a lot. And obviously had no electrical properties to it at all. The deer kind of just got used to it, I think. So we're gonna get this restrung, and then I'll show you how we're gonna bait it with some peanut butter and hopefully give the deer an extra shock, a little extra motivation to stay away. So I've got a few pieces I had to splice together, some of this electrified string, and you can see if you come close and look, it's got the little steel cables in it. Sorry, I let that car pass. That the electricity flows through, and then it's just a nylon string on the outside. And we've got to splice together a few pieces, and in order to make sure the electricity can get from this string to that string, you got to ensure they have got a really good connection. So the way I do it is just loop it over, and this guy's going to come around, and we're going to tie them together with a double overhand on both sides, and then pull them together. So I got an overhand knot there, that's tied onto that one, and then this string is going to have an overhand knot on this side that brings them together like so. And then you can see they slide against each other, and once it gets each other, you pull it tight. And then those 2 pieces will work well. When you're putting it through these pigtails, the best way to do it that I found, because as simple as they seem, you see they're really simple. They just got a spike on the end and this little extension. And to get them into the ground, you just step on them and they go in real easy. And they're pretty sturdy. And as simple as they seem, they can be a little bit confusing if you're trying to kind of figure out how to get this on here. The best way is if you go in from below, and then you can see it just runs through really easily. Bring it on down here. And again, this one is just coming from below and go around the corner. You want to make sure the corners are in really nice and tight. Yeah, getting a little tangled. What's nice about these is you can also pull them out of the way when you're mowing. Makes it a lot easier. Alright, so the sky's blue, which is nice. Now I've got this steel cable, galvanized steel cable, attached it up here, and I'm not an expert in electric fencing by any means. I'm just kind of figuring it out, and this is what I think works for us, and it's hopefully going to keep the deer out. I think the pitfall we fell into is that we had turned it off, and we should have left it on to keep the deer out. So we're going to have this on for a little while and hopefully give Bambi a little shock on the tongue and bait it with some peanut butter and send him on his way. We did find there's a lot chewed up in there, and then we also found some scat in our little orchard here. And I'll show you some video of that in a minute here. But just schooling this out. So we've just got some simple T-posts, and this guy's actually to help brace the T-post. So that's a U-post. I'll have to adjust that in a little bit. You know the difference between the T-post. The T-post, if you look at the cross-sectional from above, it looks like a T, and the U-post, if you look at it from above, it looks like a U. So that's pretty simple. T-posts are a lot stronger, but they're also more expensive. And these guys are just standoffs for the T-post, and they keep it so that the electricity doesn't flow down the T-post into the ground. All right, so you can see a little bit better now how we've got this set up. I have two fences pretty much. We've got this fence here, which is about 4 feet tall. You saw me standing next to it. And it's got 5 strands. The bottom strand's not electrified because it's so close to the ground and we get so much coverage with, so much plant life touches it that it really just shorts out. So that one's just unconnected. Top 4 strands are connected. This one here, I just replaced. It was the string, and we replaced it with the wire because I needed the string for this outside shorter pigtail fence. And the idea is, it was working for a while, that the deer can jump over this fence pretty easily. Sorry, my dog's wanting me to throw the ball. They could jump over this fence pretty easy. And they could obviously jump over that fence or just step over it, but they can't jump both horizontally and vertically. So that's the idea. I'm gonna electrify both of them. Previously we had the upright fence was turned off, and this fence right here was just a string that wasn't even set up. But it's got it running all the way around, so it'll keep them out. As an additional step, what I've done here is bait it with a little bit of peanut butter on a piece of tin foil on one of the electric lines, with the idea that they lick it. I put it a little bit higher up because I don't want to, should be a good height for them, and I mean I don't want my dog getting it either because he really likes peanut butter, and I want him to still like peanut butter because I use it a lot for training and for keeping him entertained when we leave for the day. We stuff some of his toys with the peanut butter. So if he gets a fear of peanut butter from an electric fence, that would not be a good thing. Inside the fence, I'll show you what we've got going on here. I'm gonna do another tour a different time, but we've got some figs, some squash growing in there. That's a blueberry down there. In here we've got apple tree, and you can see they've been munching on that. A lot of the leaves are missing. This is bee balm, some comfrey down there, a lupin, oregano, rosemary, sage, elderberry, more comfrey, lavender, blueberry, another tree that they've been munching on, comfrey, lots of other plants. And you can see they've been chewing on a lot of stuff in here. So this apple, I'm hoping it survives. It's been having a little bit of challenges. We've got a lot of delicata squash in here, which is pretty exciting. Look at that. I just noticed that. Somebody said that looked tasty and took a big old bite out of it. Wow. Fortunately, we've got a lot of other ones that are doing pretty well here and don't have bites out of them. They're all kind of mixed in. That apple right there has been chewed on a lot. It's really sad. I was hoping they were going to do well this year. Another fig. And this is amaranth. And the leaves of the amaranth are actually really good to eat, very high in protein. And they munched them all down. So it's a pretty small area, but we got a lot of stuff packed in here. A lot of support species for the trees. This is a Italian plum right here. And you can see they got the bottom. This one's tall enough they're not going to be able to get all of it. So I'm not as worried about it. Chewing the bottom branches off shouldn't be a big deal. Yeah, so we'll get that plugged in. I don't have an electric fence tester right now. Had one, it's just lost. So what I'm gonna have to do is get it plugged in, and what I do, I'll show you what I do. I walk around the perimeter actually and just make sure I don't hear any ticking of the fence be shorting out, and look for any sparks. I'll show you that. So we've got the fence plugged in, and you can see it's pretty simple the way these fences work. It's plugged in over the house, and I've got an extension cord that runs over here, and the charger is in here, and it is plugged in. We've got it under the cover of this woodshed. See it ticking. That lets you know that it's running. One of those cords, the green one, runs down to some spikes that are in the ground over here in the grass to ground it. The black coming off of the little red knob there, the black line runs over here, over to the post where it is connected to the fence, and that charges it. So basically what I want to do is I'm looking for anywhere over here that it's making a ticking noise. I don't know if you can see that. I don't really want to get too close or risk shocking, but I think that knot right there is ticking, so I got to make sure that is tight enough. And then I'm hearing some ticking from over here, so I think there's something shorting out. I got to figure out exactly what that is. I'm pretty sure it's that knot right there, and I can shore that up with a piece of wire and crimp it better so there's a better connection. But I'm going to walk the rest of the line and just see if there's any ticking, and then you can actually usually look to see if there's sparks even, where a piece of grass is maybe resting on the wire, because that'll give you the indication that you do not have a good connection, or you've got a short where electricity is, instead of running through the wire, is shorting out a piece of grass. So like that piece of grass right there, I got to be really careful here, I'm going to get shocked. That piece of grass right there is touching the wire, and it's probably going to create a short where the electricity runs down instead of going through the wire like it's supposed to. And ooh, my dog's touching the wire, he's going to get himself shocked. I gotta go. So I found there was a little bit of a tick down here where I had the fence connected to, I'll show you. The wire coming from behind me, that black line, is connected to the fence, and you can see it's just kind of a mess, but the electricity is passing through, and as long as you don't hear that ticking noise, you know it's a good connection. Again, it's on right now, so I gotta be careful. And this wire that you can see right up in the front of the frame comes over and connects to the pigtail fence out there. And that's where we're getting a ticking from. They make crimpers that you can buy to do this kind of thing, but I had this wire and it works. It's not pretty, but it works. So I just crimped some wire around there and it made a better connection between the two, and it's not ticking anymore. That ticking noise means you've got a short. It's funny, something I hadn't realized, that these pigtails have the noise coming from them. Super faint. I don't know if you can hear that. A little buddy right there, look at that. It's funny. Hey friend. But those pigtails have seems like we're losing some of the charge. It's a 25-mile fence charger, which is plenty of power.